Questions over the possibility of US intervention in the ongoing dispute between China and the Philippines have taken on a more serious tone after a dramatic escalation this week in which China rammed and boarded Philippine boats, seized weapons, and a Philippine sailor suffered a serious injury. While incidents and prickly rhetoric are not unusual where the Second Thomas Shoal is concerned, an area inside the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone China claims, this incident represents a serious escalation, far surpassing the previous blocking and use of water cannon seen in recent months. This possibility of escalation is made all the more serious by the Mutual Defense Treaty between the US and the Philippines, which risks the US and China coming into direct contact. The Philippines chose not to invoke the treaty as a result of this incident, but if China continues its increasingly aggressive approach, this seems only a matter of time. Initial reports of the altercation came from Beijing, which claimed the Philippine boats illegally and dangerously entered the area, ignored warnings, and caused a collision. But footage subsequently released by the Philippines tells a very different story, backing up claims from Manila that China was the aggressor. Footage shows Chinese Coast Guard boats surrounding and ramming one Philippine boat, trapping it between them and bringing it to a halt, at one point severing the thumb of a Philippine sailor. According to the armed forces of the Philippines, the Chinese then boarded the Philippine boat, seized guns, and destroyed equipment before puncturing their boats. Chief of the Philippines Armed Forces said, "For me, this is piracy already. They boarded our boats illegally, they took our equipment. Their actions were like that of pirates." But what makes this incident so concerning is the escalatory elements, which include both the serious injury to one Philippine sailor and the fact that the Chinese Coast Guard were now carrying weapons, including knives and spears. And while the Philippine government has said this does not reach the threshold of armed conflict that would require the invocation of its mutual defense treaty with the United States, it's getting awfully close. And if China continues to escalate in this manner, it seems only a matter of time. Philippine President Marcos has previously stated that if any foreign power kills a Philippine citizen, this would be very close to an act of war and would invoke the defense treaty with the US. Meanwhile, the US has drafted some options for involvement, according to the FT, also quoting an Asian security expert as saying, "The only way to deter these dangerous actions in the future will be more direct involvement. This could take the form of sailing or flying US assets nearby during Philippine resupply operations." With the US already distracted around the world by the Ukraine war, Houthi attacks on shipping, the war in Gaza, and a presidential election just months away, China may have calculated that this is a good time to push its advantage and test US commitments in the region. Much then will depend on the eventual US response if China keeps escalating these interactions, as it seems intent on doing. China's foreign ministry said its law enforcement measures were professional and restrained.